Oh gosh. We just are going to have all sorts of new experiences today because when a key person's out, we modify and adjust and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to sing Woke Up This Morning because I know that one. And I think I can get us at a fair starting point. Okay? Are you ready? What? Oh, yes, stand. This is our opening song, isn't it? Okay. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Very good. I think that went really well. So, do it again. Maybe as a closing. All right. So, welcome to the Louisville Center for Spiritual Living. And I see familiar faces, and I'm glad you're here this morning. And I hope that you're enjoying our hot weather. Kind of hot too fast for me, but that's okay. It's good. It at least lets you be outside. Lo is in Nashville. He is playing with a band he's not played with before, and so it may open some opportunities for him to, for gigs and playing more. And so he'll be back with us next week. And Vicki is in Las Vegas, and then she goes to Houston, and then she'll be back next Friday night. So that's what I know, all right? Let me light us a candle. Well, it's not going to light. So the first thing we get to do, we get to use our imaginations and see a flame right there at that candle. I don't know why it won't light. But we start with an opening affirmative prayer. And so as we bring our attention to this moment, allowing ourselves to be fully here right now, then we turn our minds to what we know of Spirit. What we know are the attributes of Spirit, our experience of Spirit, and the infinite possibilities of Spirit. All that Spirit is, we are. And so in confidence and trust, we can call forth a sacred time, a time for us to learn and to grow and to share and to receive and to give and just have that anchoring in the magnificent truth of our being. And so with deepest gratitude, we let it be. And so it is. Okay. Announcements, Gordon.
Okay, weekly announcements by, that would be me. Okay, everyone, remember the buddy system? Field trips today. Getting in the laundry, huh? Socks.
There's always a missing sock.
Right. Just around the corner, another social Sunday gathering, June 2nd. And somebody also.
That's a good spread, huh?
Oh, that's pretty good, yeah, that's awesome. Okay, men's group, thank you for jazzing this up. June 6th at my place, first Thursday of each month, almost always. Yeah, that's true. If it's not, you'll know about it. July meeting 1 week early on June 27th, August meeting August 1st. We'll go over that later as it gets closer. But bring one, bring all. Okay, that meeting, yeah. And here we have Michael Bernard Peckwick. There's lots of good stuff about him, of course. Visioning Your Life class, Tuesday evening starting June 11 for 8 weeks. This time was going to be on Zoom. Do you want to say anything about that, or?
It's Vicky's class, and she's already had a really good response to it. And I've never taught that class, but I'm glad it's being offered. Yeah.
And is he in Atlanta, or
What?
Beckwith? Where was his?
He's in Los Angeles, south of Los Angeles.
Practitioner of the day, our own Bev. Where are we? Right over here. You came back to that. Okay, our affirmation today. Ready? Go. In May, I shall be all things anew, peaceful, compassionate, helpful, and happy. I will make the difference. Yes.
Oh, does anybody have a story? We bring it to story time. No stories? Okay. I'll let you know that Tracy made her move. She's still got a few things at her old house and all, but she's pretty much out there on the farm. And oh my gosh, the amount of work to be done. But she's doing it. She's determined to get it all done. She wants to get her horses there in 2 weeks. And so she has to do a lot of things to make that happen. And I may cough. I may sound funny. We've all had that stuff. So just bear with me. Okay? All right. Sacred reading.
From Ephesians 4, verses 5 and 6. One Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in all. We live in the midst of an unlimited presence, forever in action as unlimited mind. It created us, it sustains us, it operates through us. All it asks of us is our recognition of it as we affirm the presence and power of God in our lives. And then something happens within us to improve us. This can be tested by anyone who wishes to see what will happen when God works in his or her presence. It requires no advanced study, no educational background, no particular vocabulary or posture. The process of approaching the deity is merely one of knowing it is, and that it abides within each of us. What we affirm, we become. As we affirm God, we actually become the sons and daughters of God and heirs of all that God is and has. Draw near to God, and he will draw near unto you. There is only one presence, God, and we are in it. There is only one power, God, and it acts through us this day. There is only one mind, God, and it is our mind now. All around us at every instance is the presence of the enfolded Jesus. The same mind which acted through him is now in action through us. We are the heirs of all that God is and has, and we know it. We live in a spiritual universe governed by a spiritual law that is always working for our good. We are safe, for God is with us. We are wise, for God is in us. There is nothing to fear, for God is around us, God is within us, and all is well with us today.
So it is. Beautiful. Thank you, Bob. Bob is my personal fixer. So, we don't have special music today. Anybody have anything they want to? Anybody tap dance? Okay. Okay. Gordon, do you tap dance?
Well, not tap dance.
Yeah.
Spare all of us. But I was thinking about a story, just a short story. Most of you are aware that I have these puppies. Margot and I have these two puppies. And they've been absolutely a joy in ways that I could never imagine. And they still are. There's this one that's a little feisty. His name's Pocket. And it's black and white, and it looks like a perfect stuffed animal. And it's just amazing when he bounces around and stuff. His personality is too strong and too smart for us at times. But anyway, in trying to discipline the little guy, or let's just say establish routines like, don't crap in the house and stuff like this, you might think that's easy, right? Not if you have puppies, it sure isn't easy. Anyway, I swear to you, that dog, when he wants to do a little payback, I find his little gifts around the house. And I know who it is, and I can even go to him, and he'll put his little head down, he goes like this. And so I'm thinking, okay, this is not good because I don't have a trusting relationship with this dog. He's just kind of psyching me out, and then he's doing his thing. So I'm sitting in the yard yesterday, and the dogs are running around, and Pocket runs up to me, and he does this thing where he just kind of jumps up about my knee length, and he kind of scratches his paw. And that could mean get me a treat, it could mean pick me up, or it could mean a variety of things. Anyway, I picked him up, and luckily that was it. And what he did, when I picked him up, he immediately started wiggling. I said, oh, he wants down again, So I'm getting ready to put him down again, and he flips over on his back like a little baby. Now, he never does that. He hates being vulnerable. But anyway, he turned himself over, and he put his head right in the crotch of my arm, because I was holding him like this, and he just kind of wanted me to rock him a little bit. So that's what I did. And I felt like honored. Yeah. What a manipulator. I mean, here, I feel honored, to be able to rock it, right? Anyway, so that's my story. In many forms.
And we have all been through, if we've ever owned a dog, we've all been through the teach them where to go and where not to go. My goodness. Hello. It's Jerry and Rob. Rob is from Chicago. Tell all my secrets. Okay, so that was a great story. And it really leads into, last week we started talking about the 4 agreements, and he uses the word domestication. And so you're working with your pets to domesticate them. So acceptable routines and all that kind of thing. And what Miguel talks about is that we have done that to ourselves, and people around us have done it. They've all of our lives, we've had people, parents, friends, siblings, teachers, preachers, whatever, around us teaching us what it is to be domestic, to be trained to get along with everybody else and to follow the norms. So when you know that and you begin to think about that, then you can see it. You can see where things come from. If you do something all the time and you don't really want to do that, but you always feel like you have to, then go back to why you think that's necessary. Who told you that it was necessary? And why did you agree that it was necessary? Well, you were 6 years old and they told you that you couldn't jump on the couch. Okay? And they made a point that you could not jump on the couch. And so now you have trouble putting your feet on the couch. You just don't do it. You just sit with your legs down and your feet on the floor, and everybody else sits with their feet on the couch, but you don't. So you go back, you find it, you look at it, you realize what a silly thing it was to do, and you let it go. And I shouldn't call it a silly thing to do. When you were 6 years old, you were just doing what was expected. You were learning the ropes, and you do that all your life. You are subject to being trained, whether you know it or not, all the time. The TV programs that you watch, what are they training you to do? Because they are training you to do something. So what are they training you to do? And is that what you want? And that's fine. But to know what the domestication is and that it's happening to you all the time. So we talked about the first 2 agreements. Be impeccable with your word and don't take anything personally. And being impeccable with our words, it carries the idea that you're going to be very honest with people and you're going to only say things that are true and kind and all that. But the hardest part is being impeccable with yourself. You say, I am going to do something, and then you don't. And so you have built up distrust because every time you say you're going to do something and you don't, then there's mistrust built between you and your subconscious. And so when you begin to see that and make the changes to have more of the life that you want, then you're reteaching, and it can be harder because you have to start at a negative and then move forward to where you want to be. So this week we're going to do the last 2 agreements, and the first one is always do your best. People read that when they think, oh man, I got to be perfect all the time. No, it's just simply do your best. And if the best you can do one day is watch nonstop TV and eat junk food, fine. That's, or if it's not to show up when you told somebody you were going to show up, whatever it is, do what you can. Be the best that you can be. And that's, we talk about it and we know about it, but it's really hard to do. For me, I should say that it's really hard for me to do, to be really consistent with my word, with myself, and to do my best. And I need more of, if this is your best today, that's okay. If it's not what you thought it was going to be, it's not how you want to live your life particularly, it's still okay. There's no guilt, there's no bad girl in the vocabulary of the universe. So when he's training his puppies, he's saying, I don't know, maybe you don't, but we do with ours, bad dog. No, no, no. Can't do that. And we say, good dog. Good boy. Good boy. Well, in the universe, it just is. It's not one or the other. It just is. Okay? So, don't make assumptions. Okay, so this morning, if you came in and you spoke to me, and I don't think this happened, but if it did, I apologize up front. You spoke to me and I didn't answer you, and I didn't respond. You could make all sorts of assumptions. Oh, she's mad at me for some reason. I wonder why she's mad at me. Well, that was rude. She's a minister. She shouldn't be so rude. Why is she so rude? I don't know if I like that. Or 1,000 other assumptions. And the truth would be, I just didn't hear you because my ears are stopped up. And I didn't respond to you because I didn't hear you. And but we make assumptions all the time. It's part of our natural being, part of natural being a human being. Because, if you lived in the jungle and you heard a rustle in the jungle, you might think, okay, predator, what kind of predator is it? And you might take appropriate action, which is climb a tree, maybe. But you've learned to, all of your life, make assumptions of what's good and what's bad, and what you want and what you don't want. So we continue to do that. We make assumptions based on where we are in that moment, based on what we need from other people. If you have share your home with someone else, then there are times when you might think, why did they do that? How could they do that? They know they're not supposed to do that. And it's just that's just unacceptable. And they get really angry, and it's a personal affront. And the thing is, they're just having a bad day, or they're just distracted and thinking about something else, and they're not even thinking about, what the person is complaining about. Years ago, I worked for the Minute Maid Company, and there was a executive secretary that worked there, and she was a really nice lady. But she came in one Monday, and she was livid. And every time you saw her that Monday, she was going to tell you this story one more time. Her son brought his wife to visit. They didn't see him very often. They lived in different towns and all. And the daughter-in-law was so excited because she had a gift for her mother-in-law, and she just knew she was going to love it. And so when they came in, she took her to her room, and she took her suitcase, threw it up on the bed, opened it up, and took out this wonderful gift and gave it to her mother-in-law. Her mother-in-law was so angry that she wasn't even gracious when she accepted the gift. On that bed was a handmade quilt. Everybody knows you need to be careful with a handmade quilt. She did that dirty piece of luggage and just threw it right up there on that quilt. Everybody knows you're not supposed to do that. Well, she didn't. And she didn't think that she was doing anything, and so she didn't have any idea why her mother-in-law was angry and upset. But she was. And it, sounds like me. I said, well, maybe she just didn't realize, She just didn't realize that, handmade quilts are hard to clean. And they're never quite the same after you've put them through the washing machine. And you really do want to be careful with them because they're very precious. But she had made the assumption that she just did it because she had no regard for her mother-in-law's things. She carried that anger for a very, very long time, and it was an assumption that was wrong. About the same time, my mother moved up in the country in Lindale, Mom and Dad, and she hand pulled a rug. Is that what you call it? And she pulled this rug, and it was, about yay big, and she just loved that rug because she worked really hard at it. She was not a crafty kind of person, and so she, really, really enjoyed, was proud of it, and she put it in front of her shower. So when her grandson came to visit, When her grandson came to visit, he stepped out of the shower onto her beautiful rug and stood there soaking wet and dried himself off and then went on. She was so mad. They just don't raise kids like they ought to. He should have known not to do that. He's not supposed to step on that rug. She hung it on the wall after that because she wasn't going to have anybody else step on it. Oh, but we do that. We make assumptions that everybody knows this, everybody knows that, and when they don't, we get offended and we get hurt. So trying not to make assumptions. You know, if you make the assumption that the guy cut you off in traffic, he cut you off in traffic, you know, take it personally and all of that. And you can come up with all sorts of stories about why he did that, a lot of them unkind. And really, he was just trying to get home. He was just trying to get to where he was going, and he, for some reason, didn't get in the right lane when he should have. And so he was pushed to get in the right. He wasn't out to hurt anybody or to cause any accidents or anything else. He just had to get off because he was about to miss his exit. Assumptions. What assumptions do you make about other people? Situations. What assumptions do you make? And what do you make assumptions about in your own life? Some of us make assumptions that, well, if you have this, you're going to have it all your life. Whatever it is, if you've got it now, you're going to have it all your life. There's just no change in it that you got it. This time of year, I always get a cold. Always do. Sure enough, I get a cold. But I'm making assumptions. I'm taking limited information and forming a hypothesis and then letting that determine how I live my life and what I do with my life. And so the 4 agreements are: be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions, and always do your best. If you worked on one of these for a while until you felt comfortable with it, and then you added another, that would be great. Because if you try to do all 4 at one time, your mind and your body probably will reject it all because it's too much. You're asking it to change everything, the way it thinks, the way it is in the world and being and all of that. And it can't do all of that quickly. You need to have a way to bring it in a little at a time and make changes a little at a time. He talks about that and what it means to be committed to these words, committed to these ideas, these principles. He talks about Toltecs, which is what he is one of, and how they do that. They are easily better at one part, and they struggle with other parts. You know, they can take the no assumption thing. They got that one. But it's this whole thing about not taking it personally they don't have. But they work on that one. And so they, too, have a lifetime of work to be done. You know, we talk about that this life is not a beginning, a middle, and an end. This life is part of a journey that keeps right on going. It had a past history that we don't remember, and it will have a future that we don't know anything about. But we are not finite within, on tombstones, born 19 whatever, died, that kind of thing. We're not either one of those numbers or even the combined part of all those numbers. We're that dash in the middle. We're what we did in the middle of that. That little dash tells us so much about ourselves, how we lived our lives, what we thought was perfect, and what we thought was absolutely necessary to do. He calls the evil thoughts parasites. That they're in your mind and in your body, and they're parasites. They feed off of you. And so you're not ever going to be well until you can get rid of or change these things that are being talked about. There are 3 masteries that lead people become Toltecs. First is the mastery of awareness. This is to be aware of what we really are with all the possibilities. Are you aware? Are you aware of how you're feeling in a moment? Are you aware of how your life is moving? Is it moving how you want it to move? Awareness, I've said it many times, is the first step. When you find an awareness of what you wanted more of, then you can move that direction. But you have to be aware, and most of us are not. They talk about how much of our brains we use in any situation. I'm taking in pieces peripherally and out there. All this information is coming in, and I choose what to pay attention to. But it's still all there, but I'm just choosing. Well, if I'm aware that I choose, I can make another choice. I can look at it and say, okay, I want to include more than this and less than that. So the mastery of awareness. The second is the mastery of transformation. How to change, how to be free of domestication. The mastery of transformation. To see where you want to be different and to be able to change it. And that's one of the things that whenever we think about change your thinking, change your mind, change your life, we talk about that in its first awareness. Until you have awareness of what's going on and where you are in it, you can't change it. But when you become aware, then you can decide, I want something different. I don't want this, I want something different. The third is the masters of intent. Intent from the Toltec point of view is the part of life that makes transformation of energy possible. It is the one loving being that seamlessly encompasses all energy, or what we call God. Intent is life itself, as it is unconditional love. The mastery of intent is therefore the mastery of love. What are you intending? What do you really want to intend? That's one of the master's areas to work on, to know more about. And it's just, these truths, any one of them would change your life. And if you do more than one of them, you will really change your life. But become aware. Not in a judgment, not in a that's good, that's bad, but just in that's it. That's what's happening. This is how I'm feeling. This is what's going on. And leave it at that. And then move on. So, I've really enjoyed this little book. And I've read it before, I taught a class on it before, but it's helped me to get focused on some things in my life that I needed to be focused on. So I hope that it has done some of that for each of you in a totally different way than it has for me, because it's never going to be the same for any of us. We're all going to bring our own input, our own viewpoint to any of this and decide how we're going to use it. Okay. We're going to do a meditation, and we have music that will be in the background. And in this particular meditation, I will probably keep a lot of silence, and just let you, let the music inspire you, and just let it take you wherever it wants to take you. So, Vernon. And in meditation, we know that the idea is to let go of the past, let go of the future, and be in the now. Relaxing our bodies, opening our minds to the words of Spirit, to the feelings of Spirit, to the wisdom of Spirit. What is it that's standing on the side, wanting you to become aware of it? What wisdom is calling to you? Wisdom, help, direction. So take a deep breath. Think about what you've been thinking about. See what it is that you want to make sure you remember. And then breathe. We let it go, knowing that it is done. It has fulfilled a purpose for us this morning. And so with our breath, we bring in all that will benefit us and release anything that would delay us or stand in our way or generate false ideas. And we breathe. When you're ready, open your eyes and be fully present right here, right now. Okay. Offering? We miss low, don't we?
Just a reminder that we have the square, gives you the opportunity to use your credit card or debit card. And those who want to donate, lcsonline.org. Please join me in our prosperity affirmation. It is natural to have all my needs met and more.
Money and supply comes to me easily. I am worthy of the good that life offers.
Okay. And we simply say thank you. Thank you to everyone who supports us, to everyone who benefits from us. And we are grateful for our tithes and offerings. And we know that as we give, we receive. And so we give in joy. And so it is. Hmm? Okay. For those of you who don't know, this is our prayer box that's available before service. And we do a prayer at the end of the service covering what's in the prayer box. Okay. So join me. There is one life. There is one presence, one power, one joy, one clarity, one infinite wisdom, one love, one comforting. All these attributes and so much more are attributes of Spirit. And we know that as there is only one, we are part of all of that. And we too are filled with those attributes. And so we rejoice in that. We rejoice in knowing that we are never alone. If we ask for help, it's there. Spirit is never pushy to make something happen that we're not asking for. It waits for us to know and to ask with awareness. And so in this moment, I know that for each of us, whatever our situations are, there is wisdom, there is clarity, there is definite guidance of how to move from one step to the next. And as we let it unfolds with such gentleness and in ways we could not imagine. And so, we know that as we go forth into this week, we are blessed and we are blessing. We are loved and we are love. We are power. Infinite power. And so, with confidence and trust, we let our thoughts and prayers go out to the law, which always says yes, with deep gratitude. And so it is. Okay. We are supposed to have a closing song. We don't have a closing song. And so I was trying to think of how to close the service off. And I'd really like for us to just make a loose circle. We don't have to hold hands. And just make a loose circle and spend some time blessing each other. Okay? So make a loose circle. You can say yours out loud, or you can say it just to yourself, whichever way you want to do it. But I'd invite you to take this opportunity, get to where you can see almost everybody. Move a chair, be an amoeba, whatever. And so what I'm inviting you to do is to, okay, we need a circle. Okay, this is better. Yeah, this is better. So what I'm inviting you to do is to speak a word of intent into this group. Now, we're all gathered here. We are all on a spiritual journey, and we know it. And we've been working on a lot of things, and so we bless each other. And our blessings and our prayers are simply that for each other. And so if you would like to say out loud something, that's fine. Or you just want to keep it to yourself, that's fine. But I want us to go around the circle and put forth into the circle what it is that we need support with right now. Or whatever it is that we want to be grateful for, that we want to express that gratitude for. Or whatever it is you have that you want to put in. Okay? We're going that way. I don't know why I think all circles go that way, but I do. Domestication. Okay. I open this with a simple knowing that Spirit is right here, right now, listening and rejoicing with each of us. And I pass my word.
My blessing would be for all of you, to see your lives as a work in progress, as your life's spiritual practice. It's your life, it's everything that you do. And it's not that some work is more valuable or more important than others, although we act like it is sometimes. Mm-hmm. But it really isn't when you think about it. It's all equally important, and it's just a vehicle to be present, be closer to God. And I think that means a lot of joy and laughter and having a lot of fun in your lives. And I bless that with all of you.
And I put into this group the knowing that you are aware of who you are and how powerful you are, and that you never forget that.
And I bless each of us with the knowing that we have the freedom to choose. And within that choice, unlimited possibilities. And those possibilities continue to open for each of us as we step forward in that love. And I pass my word.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just say pass.
I'm happy to be here and able to find this group and being able to come here on Sunday and meeting everybody here and being able to come here with my friend and my daughter, and every single day there's something new.
Go Tiny Tim, God blesses everyone.
To be more aware and reduce the amount of negative thinking and self-defeating thoughts. I know myself, I'm struggling with that sometimes.
Growth and love to all. And realizing that the different awarenesses about what other people are doing, and just knowledge of that. Love to all.
I wish for everyone confidence, clarity, courage to be your true self. I like that. Can I borrow
Yes.
As we stand here, we realize our own greatness and our own power and the power of the Word of God. And bless us all, just like Tiny Tim.
And I appreciate change. It allows us to grow and embrace the exciting newness that's coming our way.
Peace.
Okay, I am glad that this didn't get said, but I just want you all to know that you are all beautiful people. And I want you to realize that and carry that.
And I'd like to remember trust, that we always trust the Spirit that is within us and guides us, but that even more importantly, that every day we trust our own knowing and our own truth, and trust our processes, whether they be fast or slow or big or small. They are all perfect, and trust them.
Beautiful. If you know the song, sing it with me. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be blessed. May you be peaceful and at ease. And may you be happy. Amen. Yeah.